very much like to introduce Kyroh from Quest, Mercado from YGG, and Tonhaca from Brazil. All right, so welcome to our first panel. Today we're going to talk about content creation in Web3, and we've got three amazing creators with us here, all from very different backgrounds. Kyroh from North America, part of Quest. They've been working very closely with Axie Infinity on developing our creator program, as well as various other activations. Mercado from YGG in the Philippines. She's done some incredible work for us in terms of esports project management. She's a very successful streamer, and also you'll see her on the stage a few more times throughout this event. And Tonhaca here, my buddy from Brazil.
Yeah, let's go, man.
Made it all the way here to Barcelona. Brazil is a very quickly growing region for us, and some of the work that he's been doing as a community lead there has been instrumental in helping us break into that community. So first and foremost, welcome. Kyroh, how's it feel to be in Barcelona, man?
It's really crazy, man. Being overseas for the first time is a very awesome experience. I've got to see a lot of cool architecture, got to meet so many people I already see in the crowd that I'm able to just put a face to a name, so it's been really, really great.
Awesome. Ian as well, I mean, a long journey for you from the Philippines.
Yeah, I had 20-hour flight, but it was amazing to be here in Barcelona and meeting everyone from Axie. And I think yesterday everyone had a lot of drinks. Yeah, a lot, from morning to the night time.
Yep.
It seemed like the beach party was a smashing success from everything that I could tell. I was not participating, but it seemed like you had a great time. Tonhaca, how are you doing? I know the Brazilian boys are really excited to be here.
Yeah, man, it's very hard to go through the ocean for us, and it's very, very great to be here. It's a great city. Everybody's doing very great here, and a lot of great conversations. And the event starts now, and I had a lot of great conversations, and man, that's sick.
Yeah, amazing. So I want to ask you guys a bit about what it's like to be a Web3 content creator, because I think all of you have been around long enough, so you've worked in other games, you've made videos for some traditional games. Kyroh, maybe let's start with you. I mean, what's your Web3 creator experience been? Because at Quest, you are one of the content creators. That's your full-time job, man.
Right. So yeah, being in Web3 and being a content creator is honestly a lot different than Web2. I formerly competed in Apex Legends whenever I was first getting into content creation, and making videos and clips and things like that for those kind of games, it's a lot different than making it for a Web3 game. You have to really reinvent yourself a lot continuously to just keep everything fresh. You have to really keep up with everything that's going on in like the social media space, and it's been a great experience, though. I mean, I've met a lot of people, the community scene that is in Axie specifically, but Web3 in general, just being able to like join these communities and have a close relationship with so many people, rather than like in a Web2 game, I feel like it's a lot more cold. Like you meet a lot of people, but the relationships just aren't as close. Like a lot of these people that I see out in the crowd, like I've had really deep conversations with. I've talked to them about a lot of really cool things, and in Web2, it just wasn't like that. So definitely a more personal experience, I would say.
Great. I'm curious, I mean, does that resonate with you too? Is that similar to your experience, or have you felt slightly different, Ian?
I think it's a bit different from my end, since I do buy my own NFTs, and Web2 games are like just skins, but owning assets and streaming it actually is different, and there are some different guidelines on streaming and content creation that you just can't show off too much on streaming, and like financial advising to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's quite challenging on how you can be creative at the same time. You can inform your viewers about Web3 itself as a whole.
Right. I actually wanted to ask that as a follow-up. How do you dance around the nothing is financial advice, but we're talking about things that are, available for trade on a free market. There's an evolving meta. Everyone's trying to get ahead of the curve. I mean, I'm curious how you balance this, Tonhaca, because as a creator, you want to be responsible. You don't want to give people bad advice. You certainly don't want to be giving out financial information, but sometimes there's a Venn diagram there that feels a little hard to separate.
Yeah, that's our great challenge in Brazil, because the people care about a lot with the financial thing, and you have to make that the better way, because we need to care about our community, and that is very important in Brazil, because the people don't see the danger about that, and we have the responsibility to do that in the better way.
Right. And not every country has the same regulation, right?
Yeah.
Some places have really strict regulations about disclosures and various other things, and others, it's the Wild West. You can kind of do whatever you want, and it's on you to have that moral code, excuse me, that moral code to make sure you're doing right by your audience.
Yeah, perfect.
Can I bounce in? I just make sure to remind everybody that I'm a 25-year-old idiot just spending my money on videos. Like, I make sure to show all my bad decisions and my good decisions. I'm really honest with my crowd, and yeah, I think that's really just key, because I think no matter what, especially with how motivations are in Web3, I think people are always going to take your advice, even if you tell them not to. Like, you could directly say, I'm making a terrible decision. Like Spam, one of my guildmates, he bought Endless Anger for like 0.7 ETH or something like that. And he's like, you guys don't understand. Like, if you guys go out and do this, you could get burned. So I think people will always take your advice, even if you tell them not to. But it's definitely a fine line to dance around.
Yeah. Gotcha. And I want to talk about this sense of ownership, right? You know, the Axie Infinity DAO is still being formed. We're in the early stages, so full governance hasn't completely kicked in yet. But as a creator, do you guys feel more of a sense of ownership over Axie? Because I guess, like, does actually owning your assets change the mentality as a content creator?
Yeah, perfect. Well, the thing about you own your own assets, it's very different, because in Web 2 you don't have that. I have a lot of skins on games, and it's not mine. Yeah.
Sunk cost.
Yeah, sunk cost. And now we have that thing with Axie Infinity, and that changed my mindset, and that changed a mindset of my family and friends. And I live in a place everyone plays something, and that's when the people start to see Axie Infinity. Wow, everybody changed their mind, and that's very important in Brazil, principally because the people spend a lot of money in games, and thinking about that, people now can have their own asset, and that's very important.
Yeah, and of course, big responsibility that comes with that as well. Yeah. Owning your own assets means you're responsible for the custody and the security, and I'm curious how you've navigated that, Ian. Like, do you feel like you have to spend extra time educating your audience as part of being a Web3 creator? Because as we know, right, setting up the wallet is the first thing. If you don't secure that seed phrase, everything else on top of that's in trouble. So there is a really paramount educational process that almost has to happen for us to do this responsibly.
Yeah, actually for security, I have a device that I don't really, like a laptop dedicated for everything. And I don't use that for browsing or downloading anything at all. So that laptop is just for my assets. And of course, I use a Trezor. So that's very, very important. And I tell that to the viewers, especially in the Philippines, there are a lot of uneducated people, and they really don't want to get educated at all. They just want to buy because you said you buy it.
Right.
Yeah. So they have to learn it the hard way to actually just buy the things that they need. But of course, us as a content creator, we have to push it and really tell them, like, you don't really need to experience it the hard way. You just need to invest on the right materials and the right hardware that you need so that you can protect your assets. Because it's an asset.
Yeah.
You can buy and sell it. So
totally.
money.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what have you guys felt is the biggest struggle of being a creator in the modern age? I mean, I think there's a lot of parallels for traditional content creators. It's a high-stress life. You have to continually come up with new ideas. You have to kind of one-up yourself consistently and at times kind of reinvent yourself. So maybe, Kyroh, you can speak to some of the challenges of your daily lifestyle. I'm kind of curious, what is the day-to-day of Kyroh like?
It differs every day, depending on when I wake up and go to sleep, because my sleep schedule is always chalked. Like, I'm going to bed at like 4 a.m. sometimes. But yeah, it's a different set of struggles from being a Web 2 to Web 3 creator. I think as a Web 3 creator, like you said, you have to constantly revamp yourself. You have to constantly stay educated on what's going on. And yeah, I think just the output, probably. It's really easy to get burned out, especially like when you're sitting in front of your computer for so many hours per day, or just like constantly trying to think of creative ideas to maybe be different or try to stick out from everybody else. I think that just the output is probably the biggest struggle for me.
Okay. You guys concur? I mean, Ian, do you feel like, how do you manage the grind? I know you do a variety of games as well, so you're still doing some like traditional gaming, some Web3 gaming. How do you balance all of it?
I usually, for Web3 games and the things that I do in crypto, there's always people helping me to update me what's happening, because not every time I can scroll on Twitter. Unlike before, when it's pandemic, you're inside your house, you just scroll, update, get news from different startups, organizations. But right now it's different because the world is actually getting back again on the track, and it's getting busier. So you need the people around you to help you too. So that's how I adjust, and I actually listen to those people.
Yeah. How's the Brazilian life? You know, what's your day-to-day, Tonhaca?
Man.
Actually, this is an honest question. Are you a full-time content creator? Do you do any side hustles right now, or are you just full-time Axie content?
Man, for now it's full-time Axie content. I'm working with Brazilian community, and I only do that now. And it's very hard because we have a lot of questions to deal with, and every day we have another challenge to deal, because it's what you say. It's a new community growing on Axie, because we start wrong on the start, and now we are rebuilding everything, and we have a lot of job. I can count with Lunacia, I can count with Nefral. It's great brothers to do that, and we are working a lot in Brazil to make the things happen. And now it's totally hustle my day. It's every day doing Axie things, and man, it's very awesome because I'm not tired to do that. I'm enjoying a lot, and I'm enjoying the journey, and I think that's the most important part in doing content creation, and doing things in Web3. We have to enjoy all the things, because it's everything new. You deal with new things every day, things that no one deal with yet, and I think it's very important to make that with happiness, because if you are not happy to doing that, you're doing the wrong thing, I think.
Right, absolutely. I mean, there is a sense of passion, I think, that translates for a lot of community members. And part of what you just mentioned, it's not only about educating the individual users, like the consumers, but sometimes it's talking to other influencers.
Yeah.
And there's a really interesting game theory there, because one-to-one, they're sort of competitors with you guys, right? Any other influencer is there fighting for that same audience, and it could be combative, but also we're so early. I think most of us realize, hey, we benefit from just growing the whole ship. We just need more eyeballs, more people engaged in Web3. Kyroh, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like, do you get DMs from other influencers that are like, hey, what's this thing? You know, do you influence the influencers, so to speak?
I hate that word, but I definitely talk to a lot of other creators. I think it's essential. As for the competition part, I mean, yeah, we're competing in the same space, but it's kind of back to what I touched on with the community stuff earlier. It's just like having the community feel. There's so many streamers or content creators out there, Web2, like Tim the Tatman and Nick Merckx. They have like a group where if Tim's streaming and then he gets off, everybody goes to Nick's stream. So I think that it's like kind of a crossover there more than like really a competition.
Yeah, for me, I think talking to other creators as well, because I do talk to other creators, especially in the Philippines.
Right.
So there's more of like a respect, especially on the time. Sometimes you don't want to battle on the time that he or she streams, because it's just a bit of respect. But it's okay. Yeah. Definitely it's up to you. It's your audience. I think it's still unique. You would have your own unique community and his or her unique community. And yeah, and you guys are just sharing ideas on how to make the ecosystem better. And talking to that creator would actually help the community as a whole to be bigger and better.
I like that a lot. You're sort of pointing out like what makes you special as a streamer isn't the game that you're covering. It's your brand, your personality, and that can cover a lot of different games. So I love that. That's such a confident take, Ian. I'm not worried about other influencers coming in. They can't do what Ian does.
Well, everybody has different strengths too. Like you were talking about how Web3, you have a big need for education. In other games, you don't. I mean, I'm traditionally in Web2, I was doing just entertainment content. So now, like, getting together with some of these people who are educators, I mean, that's one of the reasons that I really wanted to team up with, like, Mystic Scholars whenever he first got into Axie, was he was educating, like all the time on Twitter. And so it just helped strengthen my content creation overall.
And let me just add that content creation is not just about streaming, but also videos, like short videos, longer videos. So I think each of everyone, us as a viewer, would have time. So if we have a favorite content creator, we have the time to watch him and then the next content creator that you want to watch. So it's really up to the creator. The battle is within himself or herself. It's not about the other people.
Perfect.
Yeah, well said. You made a really good point there, Ian. Tonhaca, how you feeling? You concur here with this general assessment?
What? Sorry.
No, but let's switch. I want to talk about balance a little bit, though. Like, how do you balance yourself? Crypto Twitter can get toxic sometimes.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that you're engaging but not letting the toxicity get to you? What's your secret sauce to find that balance?
Man, I used to focus on the good things. Yeah, I think that is the better way to do, because toxicity we have in a lot of markets, not only on Web3. We have in all places we have the people doing that, and in games principally, because I used to stream in FPS game, and people have a lot of toxicity in. I deal with just ignoring some people, because we have to understand the reason, but sometimes the reason is only hate you, and we have to understand that and deal in the better way, doing your best and saying good things to people understand you're not there to fight with anyone. You just want to play and make the people happy with you.
Well, and sometimes the people that care about this the most are the ones that come off as sometimes toxic or emotional, and it's rooted in a place of, I want this to succeed more than anything that I've ever engaged with in my life. Kyroh, you're making faces over there, and I know maybe you've crossed that line a time or two. Can you tell us about it?
People think I'm toxic, man. I don't. But
No, but I mean, it is true. I mean, I've been there too. I've had some conversations with people where, it gets heated, and at the end I walk away and go, why did I get emotional there? And it's like, because I really care about this, because I think Axie is changing the paradigm, and I want it to win.
Yep.
Is that sort of similar to your experience? I mean,
I'm definitely just a very passionate individual, I feel like, and I think the way people perceive things online versus in person is different. That's why events like this are really, really important. I also think that, like, whenever you are typing stuff out online, you kind of like get to the point on most of your things, especially on Twitter. And so sometimes that can come across differently. But yeah.
And to circle back to Ian's point, I wonder how much of this is sort of rooted in a shifting trend where quick content is all of it now, right? Like YouTube Shorts, TikTok, like this is the content that's taking over. The 2-hour long-form podcasts that I like to do are not the sexy content of the future. It's all about these quick, digestible little chunks. But some topics are complicated. It's really hard to summarize Axie in a 60-second YouTube short, or talk about security and cover all of it in a 60-second video. I mean, do you feel like that is part of the incentive structure that has made communication online maybe a little more difficult? Because to me, it's getting harder to have these really nuanced conversations on digital rails.
Right. I think our attention spans are lessening every day, honestly. I mean, just for the example of what you're talking about, YouTube Shorts and TikTok, whenever I posted a YouTube short a week ago, it got more views on that one YouTube short than like all of my month of YouTube videos did combined. So it's like they.
I don't know whether to say congratulations or condolences.
They just push the content a lot more, and I think it's just because, I mean, everybody's attention span, everybody's just on their phone swiping, so makes sense. I would think it's definitely, communication just gets shorter and shorter. You try to get to the point. 140 characters in a tweet, like 280, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it used to be 140. I mean, that seems like
that was crazy. How did we do that?
Hard to communicate with each other. Yeah, it was a good change for Twitter. I mean, Ian, do you kind of concur? Do you feel like things are changing partially because of that lowered attention span? Like, do you feel pressure to make shorter content? I mean, are you on TikTok, for example?
Yeah, I actually am on TikTok and YouTube. I think it's somewhat okay, because you have to get the attention in a span of 60 seconds, and then they would go to your profile and see what's the real content behind that.
Okay.
So you would see who are the viewers who are really willing to get educated, and who are really willing to, or not willing to watch you at all. So you just have to get everything. I think the shorts are for everyone, and then the longer videos are for those who are loyal to you.
The hardcore audience.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So almost the shorts are like a marketing funnel to get people in, get them excited, and then they see the real long-form stuff.
Yeah.
Similar for you, Tonhaca. Are you on TikTok? I'm not on TikTok. That's why I keep asking. I'm still the laggard that has not embraced the future. So where are you at on the TikTok game?
I'm on TikTok and Instagram too, Instagram Reels. And it's very hard to say something in too short time. And I'm trying a lot to do that because on Brazil especially, a big audience for that. I think in all the world, but in Brazil especially have a lot of people doing that and seeing that. And that's the most product on the internet now, I think, because short videos, the people, it's always watching short videos and swiping the phone all the time. And we need to deal with that. And I think what Anne says is the right thing to do. You have to use the short videos to bring the people to you and show your great content. You show your stream and invite them to watch your stream to gather more information about the things you are saying.
I mean, good summary is good. I think there's no doubt about that. Being able to get a nice, smart brevity breakdown always feels good, but really hard to do, especially when it's something that's complicated or has, nuanced. It's not just Team A or Team B, but Team AB, and you have to unpack that a little bit. One of the other unique parts about Axie is the scholarship dynamic, especially back when Axie Classic was really popping off. I'd love to hear your thoughts about how the scholarship model impacted you as a creator, influencer. Did all of you have scholars? Maybe we can start with Kyroh. Did you have a little scholarship?
I joined in about a year ago in Axie, right around the big boom. I started with like one team. I bought my first three Axies, and I got a plant and 2 aquas so I could breed them to make a scholarship. And then fast forward, I think I had something like 30 plus scholars, and with those 30 scholars, we built my Discord community up and my stream and everything else. And I think the best part of creating the scholarship was just giving the opportunities to people to be able to experience the atmosphere that we're all taking part in, and then create their own path with it. I think one of the greatest parts of Axie is how many opportunities are in just the ecosystem. And so I think that being involved at all, whether you're a scholar or an owner, you get way more opportunities, and that was just a really great thing. And just being able to build the community up was probably the most beneficial part of it.
Ian, I think you had a scholarship at one point as well, right?
I had like more than 50.
Wow.
I have my own mini guild that I tried. Because thinking about how I discovered Axie, I've been into crypto since 2017. And one of my crypto friends just told me like, hey, check out NFTs. Because at first we are with IDOs, and then now it's NFTs. And and then I invested on Axie. And at first I was a bit like, I think this is just hype. And it was like really hype though, like intensely hype that it could actually pull your content creation up as well. So it's like a win-win situation, especially in the Philippines. And it helped a lot of viewers who doesn't have really a lot of money, and they watch your stream because they want to get that scholarship. At the same time, they learn what is Web3 and what is NFTs. Technically it's a win-win situation for everything, because the economy, the money, the content, the viewership, it goes up.
So are you still running your scholarship, or has it kind of slowed down a little bit?
Some of them are still playing. Some of them are like on a rest.
And did you find that some of those that aren't in the scholarship anymore still stuck around and are, watch the stream? They're still members of the Mercado community, huh?
Yeah. Most of them actually are my mods. I help my mods. Because whenever I play Web2 games, I just want to help those people monetarily, because that's what I couldn't do before. I just entertained them. And now I have the capability to just give them not an opportunity to earn money. That's an even greater thing to do in my work.
Yeah, and it's a low-risk way for them to earn money as well, because they're your assets that they're using.
Yeah.
Tonhaca, I would imagine it's been a similar experience for you, but how has the scholarship dynamic affected you as a creator/influencer?
Well, I started with KoiGG on Brazil, I have started with KGG, and we start to make a lot of content to people learn about Axie in Brazil, and we focus on that, and people start to learn, start to see the things growing, and we have growing with a lot of scholarships, and now it's not working too better. I think the way to scholarships now, it's focused on tournaments, on events like that, and I think it's still working, but not in the same way. We have to add more things in scholarships. I see a lot of scholars doing that quest, and that's great. It's a great example. YGG is a great example too, and we have to understand how your people want to make the things happen, and we have to use that to make education to our groups of friends, our groups of viewers, and I think that is the way to scholarships now. It's bring value to the people.
Absolutely, and it does seem like the scholarship model is shifting a little bit, where at the beginning, a lot of folks were going for quantity. How many scholars can we get? Can we grow as quickly as everyone else? And now it seems the model is shifted to kind of quality over quantity. Can we distill these scholars that really want to, push it to the highest level? They really want to learn about the game and have a, diverse set of Axies so that they can participate in different aspects of the meta. Have you guys observed that as well? Like it seems like we're getting distilled to the really hardcore scholars now.
Yeah, we've had to redo our model completely, especially with how Origin and crafting works. It's just a completely different experience. And I feel like so far the most beneficial way to do it has just been providing esports teams and options throughout the season so that people can continue to climb the ladder and compete with whatever they craft and things like that.
Esports, one of my favorite parts of Axie Infinity.
Let's go.
Are you guys participating in esports? So can you see these announcements? Do you think I want to be a competitor? Do you think I want to make content around it? Do you think I want to do the play-by-play commentary? I'm actually really curious as a creator where your heads are at. Based on where it seems like our esports program is going.
Yeah, I'm totally focused on esports now in my content, principally on stream. I only do streams of tournaments in Brazil. I'm a caster with the Frau and Naneski. It starts to work together with, and my focus now it's totally esports because I think Axie Infinity had a great path to go on esports, and it's growing a lot, and people start to see that like a bigger sports thing, and I think that is the path to Axie Infinity go ahead, because it's very important to have that community, because it's a very strong community, and you make the people play your game competitively. I think it's the most hard people doing that.
Yeah, for sure. And I know, Ian, from your side, you've helped us a lot with the project management side of esports, which is the thing that doesn't get posted on Twitter a lot, but is really the backbone of what allows these tournaments to happen and for the players to have a positive experience.
Yeah, I think that's what I believe in. Sometimes some people really don't need to know. I just want to do the work and just do something amazing that people would appreciate it, and that would make me happy. You don't need to credit me with anything. As a creator, as a part of the passion that I have for esports as a whole, I just want to create something that would make people happy. And whatever I post online as a streamer would be the content of the game. That's just it, and that's my work, and then whatever I do on the back, it's probably the passion that I have.
I love that. I just want to make people happy. What a great goal. What a great general thesis as a content creator. Kyroh, take some notes, my man.
I try to make people laugh, man.
No, it's good. And I find it's a tricky balance sometimes where we want to be positive, right? You always want to try to be, constructive and build people up. But also there are moments when mistakes get made, or you need to call something out, or you see something, it's like, ooh, I don't know if this is the right direction. How do you balance that? How do you balance what some people call toxic positivity, and then a legitimate criticism being labeled as FUD? A very wide spectrum there. I'm curious how you approach that on a day-to-day basis.
I think it comes from just how integrated you are into the community. Like if you're truly just being passionate about it, or if you're actually just trying to cause a fuss, which I don't think I would ever try to do. I think it's I kind of take the cloud-wide approach. I I might talk about a lot of stuff, but I want to really highlight the really important issues that I would like things to get changed on. And I think whenever you have a little bit of the influence on social media platforms, you have to be the one that poses those ideas or like throws that bait out there to see if people agree with you or not. And yeah, I think talking to people that are close to you before you just go out and spew things is probably a really good strategy. I try to exercise that unless I'm really, really passionate about something. But yeah, I would say that's how I try to keep the balance.
Okay. And Ian, I'm curious for you as well, because I don't see you as critical on Twitter. You know, you seem to be a little more like in your own world. I do my own thing, and I kind of focus on my own stuff.
Way back before, I am really noisy on Twitter. I swear to God, I cuss on Twitter so much. I bash. But then I learned about, you know, aging and cancel culture, toxic positivity. And then one thing I put into myself that if I want change, I have to do something. I have to reach to that main point problem and reach that person before I post anything. So if it didn't work, then that's when I should post something.
So like the public call out is the backup plan. You know, when in doubt, you know, back channel it, have private conversations, see if you can work it out in private, and then reserve the public stuff for when you're at a brick wall, when you're at an impasse.
Yeah, because sometimes posting has repercussions that isn't really good for especially your branding, especially on my end. I just can post anything that would just ruin like anything just because I'm very, very emotional, especially I'm a girl. It can be really emotional sometimes and I cannot control it. But yeah, I've learned throughout the times that there are some things in the internet that I cannot post and it's acceptable. It's just I have to reach the root first before I do something stupid.
And I'm sure everyone on this panel has experienced this, but sometimes even if you're right, the anxiety of making the call out or posting something, the fear of are people going to understand what I'm trying to communicate? Are people going to take what I'm saying out of context? There's nothing more frustrating than posting something and then having people take it the completely wrong way, and then you have to backtrack or defend yourself, and that can be anxiety-inducing. So sometimes I've felt like it's easier just to not post, and then I can sleep better at night. But is that actually the best thing for the system? It's a tough balance, huh?
Yeah, I mean, how many tweets have you typed out and then deleted? Like, like probably a million.
At least you released it. not post it.
Yeah, I used to do that. I'm thinking about things. I write everything, and I cannot post that.
Yeah.
I delete it.
That's actually an interesting thought. Like, what percentage of the time would you say you write out a tweet or a post, and then you kind of look at it and go, nah, and then delete it before you even post it? Are you like
9 times out of 10.
Wow.
I do that every time I make a tweet.
So you delete 90% of the tweets that you want to send out before posting them.
And I still have like 100,000 tweets or something like that. Yeah.
Wow, we got a real power user here. This guy.
Twitter
How about
a
you,
lot.
Ian? How often would you say you like go to post and then catch yourself?
Before I do that a lot of times, but right now I rant to my friends first. Like, I'm just gonna scream at them, hey, this is what happened. This is what's happening in my life right now. And yeah, they would absorb it, and I will tell them, can I post it? Can I just like tell some hints about it? Say, nah, it's not worth of your time. It's okay. We already heard it. Probably that's good enough.
That's
okay.
a great idea. Yeah.
Okay, then move on.
That's good. Screen it to the private audience first. I like that. I've heard people suggest that maybe a partial solve to some of these things is really just having 2 accounts. You know, you have your public account that's really more professional, branding, content related, and then you have your private Facebook page, or your private Instagram, or whatever.
Private Twitter.
Or your private Twitter.
I have that.
Oh.
I have that.
I mean, has that worked well for you though, having that separation?
Yeah, I actually just rant on that Twitter, and then I'm gonna run through the posts again, and I'm just gonna laugh at myself after a few days. Like, oh, I was mad at that day.
Yeah. How about you, Kyroh? Have you ever considered going the dual box route, a private and a public?
If you ever saw my burner Twitter, you would not be happy.
Okay, well, one day maybe. One day I'll get. Wow. I feel like I've learned a lot, though. I make some content, but it's different for me being on the Axie side, and it's been kind of fascinating to pick your brains a little bit here. I guess my final question is a little bit of a weird one. I want to start with Kyroh. How do you feel right now as a creator? Like, do you feel happy? Do you feel satisfied? Do you feel excited for the future? Do you feel disappointed? You can be honest. You know, there's no wrong answers here.
Hungry and blessed. Like, I have gotten to do so much because of Web3 and Axie. This is the first time I've ever been international on a flight. I've gotten to travel to like 5 different places in America this year alone, all because of Axie. So for that, I'm blessed. I've met a lot of really great people. For that, I'm blessed. And then I have a drive and ambition to do more. So
beautiful. Yeah. All right, Ian, what's the pulse check? How are we feeling right now?
I'm really excited for the future. It's been evolving since then from Web 2, Web 3. Oh my God. Like, I'm just excited what's ahead. It could be that complicated, and that's life. That the complication makes it better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I know how this guy's feeling. That pink hair kind of speaks for itself. But
Yeah.
you know, what's the vibe in Brazil? What are you worried about, man? You know, it's.
Man, I'm very happy now, but I'm a little disappointed with our community, a little. But now we start to make the things happen and change the mind of the people. And now I'm very excited about the future because I see a great future for us, principally in Brazil, because we have a great audience without a great attention yet. And now we start to do that, and the things start to grow, and I'm very happy to do that.
It's a process, right?
Yeah, a great process.
Jiho often says to me, it's a feature, not a bug. So if we have 50% of our users that are new to blockchain, 25% of our users that are new to financial technology and banking in general, a lot of them new to esports, it's going to take a while. There is a time element for us to hit that network effect of, you know, people educating each other and then the ripple effects of enabling folks to continue the spread. So
Perfect.
it's, I think we're doing right. I think we're making the first steps. You know?
Yeah,
this is where we're supposed to be. Folks, this was an amazing first panel. Thank you so much. Give yourselves a round of applause for being the first panel at AxieCon.
let's go.
A lot of pressure. Well done.
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you for
Well
having
done.
us.
Thank you so much.